if you've been feeling overwhelmed, disconnected, or like your world is falling apart, you're not losing your mind. You are actually waking up. And stay with me here. I'm going to walk you through what is actually happening to your energy and to your soul. Right now, you may have noticed there is a big shift happening on Earth. Many people like me and yourself have wakened up to our true spiritual path, to what's really going on in this 3D reality. And we are being asked to step more into our true, authentic selves, who we are at a true soul level. And we are asked to bring more authenticity into this world, step more into our power, and co-create the world that we want to see. Many people are calling this the 3D, 5D split, where we are leaving behind the old world and moving more into the new world. And so for me, when I awoken up on my journey quite a few years ago, I would kind of go through, splits. Like I would wake up, go back to sleep, wake up, go back to sleep. Well, I officially woke up and have been staying awake since 2018. In 2018, I came across a person we will call my twin flame, who woken me up to my true spiritual path, saw me at my true core level as a soul, and destroyed my world completely, metaphysically and spiritually. I no longer have contact with this person. So this isn't a video about twin flames. This is truly a video about awakening more onto your spiritual path. I think that many of us wake up in a few different ways. I remember the first time that I woke up, it was really because I watched the movie The Secret. And at that time, I think back in the 2010s, it was like the cool thing. It was all the craze. And I truly didn't understand kind of what was going on. I believed in like toxic positivity. I believe that we needed to, in order to manifest things in my reality, I just needed to believe it and it would come in. And yeah, in a sense, that's true, but it goes a little bit more deeper than that. I had no idea about raising my vibration, meditation, coming back to who I truly am at a soul level, coming home, meeting my soul family, and so on and so forth. And when we first awaken, it can be really confusing because we wake up and we're like, oh, we basically were in a matrix, and you're kind of looking around and you're just like, oh, a lot of people are still kind of asleep. Oh, but these people are kind of awake, and you're just kind of navigating through, but you're beginning to realize that the reality that you've cultivated for yourself really makes no sense. The world absolutely does not make sense. And you're waking up to truly what is going on in this reality, whether it be positive or whether it be negative. It doesn't matter. The energies don't matter at this point, and you're beginning to question things. You're beginning to kind of move your way through and starting to meet maybe other spiritual teachers or other people who are awake on their path. And you're feeling really sensitive to things. You're like, okay, why am I all of a sudden feeling like these emotions so strongly that are kind of coming through my field? You may be stuck to develop being more of an empath, where you're starting to feel other people's kind of emotions that are being brought onto you, and you don't know how to protect yourself yet. So you're taking on all these emotions. You start attracting maybe a more narcissists in your life, people that practice other kinds of energy work. You're just kind of going through it, and then come basically the ascension symptoms, where you get physically ill and you're like, what is this? I'm getting headaches, my stomach's upset, I have cold and flu like symptoms, I really have no idea what's kind of going on. And you're just kind of like, I know something deeper is going on my path. I'm just not sure what. And then you begin to get into things more deeply, like meditation, like yoga, um, reading some books like Untethered Soul, A New Earth, right? And when you do that, then your reality starts to shift a little bit. And you're like, okay. And you can start going deeper and deeper and deeper, right? And when we tend to go deeper, that's when we can get really into more of what's truly going on and stepping more into our purpose, into our authentic selves, into our power, into realizing we are co-creators. And we can step into learning things like becoming more psychic, learning healing modalities like Reiki, becoming a shaman. Those kind of things start to open up for you, whereas before you had no idea that you may have had an idea they existed, maybe you just didn't have an understanding that they were really in like they were in your reality, but they weren't, if that makes sense. Or maybe you did attend a yoga class or a meditation class, but you fully just didn't grasp it. And so those things start to happen. But then as well, when we are awakening on our path and we first awaken, we realize, okay, these relationships that I have in my life are no longer working for me. I don't really vibe with this friend group anymore. I don't really vibe with my spouse or partner anymore. I don't really like this job anymore. And we begin to really realize that these things aren't fitting who you used to be anymore, because those belong to an identity that you no longer agree with, right? I am no longer Victoria. I am Victoria, sure. I have to function in this reality as a Victoria, but I have no idea who I am, because all of these roles that we have been given to us begin to unravel. We are no longer a daughter, a sister, a brother, a teacher, a delivery driver. We are no longer these things, and we can no longer grasp and hold on to these ego identifying parts of ourselves. So we have to begin to really let it go. And that can be a really difficult process, especially when we're first awakening, because it can be rather confusing, because things are starting to fall away, and they will begin to fall away naturally. It's just, that's the way it works. It no longer fits with who you are now becoming, because you're not becoming anybody. You're just coming back to who you truly are. And you're just going to start to be even craving solitude, right? Or nature. Like there were periods for me when I was on my journey where I would go into hermit mode, where I wouldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't be a part of anybody's life. I went actually into deep hiding, because that's when I really started to dive deep into my work. And it's interesting, because when we awaken, we can stay on the true path to what we need to do, but we can also get sucked back into the matrix pretty easily. That even happened to me, where I was moving pretty rapidly, and I was moving on my path, and I felt really good about it, I guess. And I felt like, this was where I needed to be. And I had the fears come back up. I've had the anxieties come back up, to where it was like I needed to go back into a job because I needed money. And I was worried about money, and I had all these fears kind of come up. So I like got myself sucked back into something that didn't align with me. Like literally the universe moved stuff out of my way, even though it was extremely painful in regards to a career that I thought I was going to spend my life in, to literally not sure what to do. And I was deep in lower vibrational emotions of like depression, anxiety. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll get a job. And I stayed at that job for 2 years, being in pain and misery, feeling soul sucking. It didn't feel good. So that can happen too, or it could be a relationship. You get sucked back into a friendship or back into a partnership, or you know what I mean? Like back in with your parents. Because we went back into the matrix thinking that was the answer. And so we have to walk we have to work the tightrope pretty tightly, right? Like we have to balance. We have to be in balance as we walk across it, and we can't look down. We can't look back. All we can do is keep looking forward, right? And we have to have full trust in ourselves when we are on this path and be truly who we're meant to be. And it will happen. That's okay. But we're going to be making more conscious choices, especially with how humanity is heading right now. So even more so, you have to stay firm in your decisions and stay firm in the boundaries that you have created in regards to how you're going to start and continue walking this path. And it's okay if these things happen, like, understandable, but right? Like we have been talking about, make the conscious decision to kind of come back into the reality of which you wish to create, and come back and create the high vibrations and the reality. And together we can create the reality that is best for humanity going forward, instead of living in these lower vibrational energies of fear, anxiety, depression, anger, irritability, right? Instead of living in there, we can come and we can shift it and alchemize it and move into a higher vibration. And so I would love to know if you have awakened on your path in the comments below. Start a conversation, say, I'm awakening, and I would love to know your awakening story, and to really have a conversation, and let's spark something. Let's create a community together. And I look forward to speaking with you in the next video. Like the video if you're new or old. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one, my friends.